August 3rd at City Hall, Mayor Catherine Pugh introduced our next guest, Heidi Daniel, as the new president and CEO of the Enoch Pratt Free Library. She comes to Baltimore from Youngstown, Ohio, where she was recently named Librarian of the Year. Heidi Daniel, thank you so much for being a guest on today's Game Changers. So why Baltimore?
Well, so the Pratt Library has always been on my radar as a professional because I don't know if everybody that lives here realizes it, but nationwide it's definitely considered one of the gems of public libraries in our country. And it's always been considered an innovator in the field of libraries, and in part because of the great leadership of Dr. Heidi, who was here as CEO before me. But so even as a young librarian earlier in my career, I'd look at the compass and think, oh, this is so cool. I wish the Pratt would, we could do programs like the Pratt. The Pratt's doing these amazing things. So it was really amazing when the compass came across my desk and my picture was on it. It was sort of amazing. And when I interviewed and saw the city of Baltimore, it solidified it for me because I knew immediately that I was going to love this city.
Yeah. What was it about Baltimore that struck you as, I want to live here?
So
I can make a difference here.
Right. So it's both those things. The city itself, I feel like, is really beautiful and vibrant, and all of the neighborhoods feel so different from one another. So even though the city itself seems to be going through a resurgence, there's all of these neighborhoods that have this history and traditions and cultures. So it's really fabulous because you can travel, 2 blocks and it feels like you're getting a whole new experience. So it's beautiful, it's vibrant, there's a lot of grit. People here really care about the place where they live. And I feel like the public library plays a central role as an anchor institution in the city, and that's really important to me.
And I want to back up a little bit and talk about your early life. So you've been involved in the library. You mentioned your parents would take you to the library.
Right. So the story of how I got started, neither of my parents went to college, and they wanted that for me. So they would take me to the public library when I was a child because they thought that that's how I would learn whatever I needed to know about the world and how I would get an education and be able to go to college. And it was fabulous because it was never a place where anything was out of reach. Everything was within possibility. And it really taught me about the world outside of my little 4 corners. And so I felt connected to people in a different way through reading, and it obviously worked. Here I am. So for me, the library is a place of possibility and a place of personal enrichment and growth, and a place that can change people's lives.
Yeah, and you bring that to Baltimore City.
I hope so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you mentioned, being inside of a library takes you out of your 4 walls.
Right.
It opens up your mind to so many different things.
Right, it does, because you can go anywhere, you can learn anything, you can read a nonfiction book and enrich your knowledge so you know more about, business or law or even, national events and politics. Or you can read a fiction book and learn what it's like to live in a completely different country as a completely different person. And I always felt like fiction teaches great empathy and understanding of people who are not like us, or it really helps us connect more and feel proud of ourselves when you're reading a book about someone that is like you, that's portrayed in this sort of amazing way. It's powerful to see a reflection of yourself on the page. So I think that that's what books do for people and all people, and I think that that's an incredibly powerful thing.
So in your opinion, with the advancement of technology today, how can you encourage people, young and old and middle-aged, to come into the library?
So I think the library is offering a lot of outside of the book type programs. So obviously books and collections are still important to us, and we think it's still important to people, but so many people come in today for our technology, or maybe they come in for jobs. So we have a mobile job unit that goes around the city and visits neighborhoods with 50% or higher unemployment rates, and they park and people come in and they help people, apply for jobs and connect to things. And I think that gives a sense of the caring of our staff and how invested they are in people. And then those people that they're helping can feel more comfortable coming into a physical branch. For children, we offer, entertaining programs where they can learn for 0 to 5. For teens, we have all kinds of incredible programs, and it's a safe space for after school. And our youth staff are really great at engaging them. And so we try to offer programs for all ages. We have a new program we've launched, Social Worker in the Library. and it places it places social worker students in field placements from the University of Maryland in our branches, 4 of our branches, and they'll be there to help our customers who may need a little bit more assistance than just what our staff could give them. So issues of food insecurity or homelessness or possible evictions or drug addiction, mental health issues, they can help them connect to the resources they really need. And we think our libraries are a perfect place for that because we're meeting the customer at the time of need. We have lawyers in the library where people can come in and get expungements or help with tenant rights so that they can move on into a new phase of their life. So we're offering all kinds of powerful programs like that that really help people change and grow.
Yeah, so lots of things that people can come in to learn about. And after the break, I want to go into more about that, what the community can expect and what the library system offers.
Great.
All right. So stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Game Changers with my guest, Heidi Daniel, the new president and CEO of the Enoch Pratt Free Library. So, Heidi, I wanted to ask you, how do you see the library system as a safe place where people can come and learn and grow?
Right, so I think that's a huge part of what we do. Our physical spaces are very important to me. Our actual buildings and the neighborhoods that they service are, I think, a key factor in how we can help the city. One of the things that we do is just provide a place for people to come in, and maybe you're just, getting on the computer to check your email. Maybe you're hooking up your laptop to the Wi-Fi because you want to work outside of your office, or maybe this is for some people an actual safe place for them to be away from whatever it is that is bothering them. So the other day I visited a neighborhood library branch, and it was fabulous to see. It was a real hot day. I was anxious to get out into some air conditioning, and I know lots of other people were in there kind of enjoying it as well. And there was families, there was little children. You could check out a toy and play with a toy. So there were families in there, children playing with those little toy cash registers, or parents reading, looking at a picture book together. And then there were teenagers in the meeting room celebrating their end of summer reading and the work that they had done with the library. And some seniors upstairs getting some computer lessons. It was so vibrant, so many people in there doing so many things. So I think that space, even if it's just someone coming in with a laptop to hook up to the Wi-Fi, or a parent escaping into a cool environment to play with a toy for a few minutes with their child, that space provides an asset for every neighborhood it sits in. I mean, every neighborhood. Mm-hmm. So I think that our physical spaces in our buildings are key to providing great service.
Yeah, and talk about great service. There is a renovation project that's underway. Yeah. Talk to us about that.
Right, so our central library in downtown is undergoing a $115 million renovation, thanks to state funding, city funding, and private funding, and it is going to be incredible. So it's being restored pretty much to its former beauty when it was originally built, when it was completed in the early 30s, and so we've recovered a bunch of original paintings, getting reproduction light fixtures done so that it will feel very similar in style and appearance to what it originally was, and it was originally an incredible jewel. So it's definitely going to make a difference for the city. But we're also going to have really incredible state-of-the-art programming equipment and spaces in there. So we'll have an audio recording studio that is soundproofed, and we'll have a lot of equipment in there for teens. We're going to have a maker space for teens. They'll have their own wing, about 3 times the size of what they had in Central before. And I think that that's really key to providing lots of great after-school and summer programming. And then we're going to have a job and career center, adult literacy spaces. Our computer bank will be back in there. It's going to be really gorgeous. I don't really know any other way to say it. I mean, it's just gorgeous. There's some paintings in there that are just breathtaking on the ceilings when I look at them. And it's going to have all of the modern things people need and expect from a library.
Yeah, and just viewing Once this project is complete, do you think it will draw more people into the library?
Definitely, I think so. I think when we reopen, hopefully in 2019, it's going to be, well, we're open now for service. Let me just say, we have about 500,000 people who come through the doors every year. So we decided to stay open. And that's a really key piece of the renovation because we have staff working in a literal construction zone and still providing great service to their customers. So we're still open. When we reopen with a completed building, it is going to be I think a huge draw. So we're expecting that we would be doing tours and that there will be a lot of people wanting to use and be in these spaces.
Yeah, so talk to me about your ambitions for the Pratt system.
So I want the Pratt system to remain a vital piece of the city of Baltimore. I want to move forward with providing everything that residents need for future growth. I want to be a key asset here as we have been. We're getting ready to roll out some extended hours, which we are really excited about. In November, we'll be going to 6 days a week, and then early next year, we'll be adding evenings in as well. So having us open more is, an important piece of what we'll be doing. And I think we really want to draw attention to all of the great services that the Pratt is already offering, as well as looking at what else do we need to be doing. And we want to be talking to residents who are non-users or people who don't use us right now and find out why and what we can do to change that, because I truly believe that public libraries are a convener of people, and that people from every walk of life can come in our buildings, be treated equally, get connected to what they need. And I believe that we have something for everybody, and I mean everybody. Like, I always challenge people, like, you think, just because you only read digitally, we have this great audio collection, or ebook collection. If you only listen to things, we have audiobooks. We have music, we have movies, we have whatever it is you're looking for, a program, a resource, we can find it for you.
So yeah, like you said, you pretty much have everything. So it's about appealing to everybody.
Right,
which
exactly.
can be a challenge.
It can be a challenge. So we have to, how do you appeal to everybody without losing your identity?
Right.
But I think that we've done it really well. I mean, what we do and what we've always done is provide access and connect people to what they need at that moment. And that's what we've always done. That's what we continue to do. And we have such a caring and engaged staff that I think is a huge asset as well.
All right. Well, Heidi Daniel, thank you so much for being a guest today on Game Changers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. That's all for this edition of Game Changers. I'm your host, Karen Campbell. I'd like to thank my guests for being a part of today's show, Baltimore Police Commissioner Kevin Davis and Heidi Daniel. We'll see you next time. Do you know a game changer in Baltimore? Send us your ideas to charmtv@baltimorecity.gov.